Hi everyone. Okay, so now we are going to do PT cash. We are recording just the small items that are being received in the company and that are being purchased. Okay. PT cash is a chapter 4. Yeah, it's a chapter 4 of your workbook, and then the budget is they are both chapter 4 and the budget. Okay, so now we have your exercise 14.11. Here we go. Exercise 14.11, PT cash. We are going to do the recordings of the items. Okay, so now the first one, let's just read the instruction. From the information below, please complete the PT cash book, entering the transactions into a PT cash book. The following transactions for March 2015 were taken from the book of Mrs. M. Lenong. The last PT cash voucher from February was voucher number 22. What does that mean? From our recordings, we are going to start from voucher 23. Okay, and then Mrs. M. Lenong is registered for VAT purposes, and then the VAT is calculated at 15%. Make provision of the following columns: stationery, postage, VAT, sundry expenses. Okay, we have them. Okay, now let's start. Our first transaction on the 2nd of March. Here, on the 2nd of March, you have an advance in PT cash of 250. What does that mean? We received something. So the PT cash has two sides, the debit and the credit side. This side is the debit. This side is the credit. Whatever we purchase or whatever we bought, we record it on the credit side. Whatever we receive, the income, those small incomes, we record them here on the debit side. All right, now let's go. The first one, they say it is the advanced. So we received it. It is our opening balance. So we call that the BF, the balance brought forward. It was 215. Okay, now let's move on. On the 2nd, you paid R5.80 for stamps. Remember, we record the date. Remember, firstly, you record the date. It was the 2nd folio, balance brought forward 215. Now, secondly, we have the date. We purchase something on the 2nd of March. We record the date first. The credit side start here, going this way, and then it was voucher 23 because they said the previous voucher was 22, so we are going to start on 23. And then the details, it is the stamp. We paid the stamp R8.15. R5.50, sorry, R5.80. R5.80. Remember, it is the amount. You format to currency. Format to currency. Remember, we need to record it until the end of the columns. Okay, here we have the stamp, and then the stamp, it is part of the postage. So firstly, you check whether the item falls under the stationery, under postage. If it does not fall in any of these two or any provided columns, then we record the inclusive or the inclusive of VAT here on the sundry, and then the VAT this side under the VAT column. Okay, so now we find that the stamp, it is the postage. What do we do when we get to the postage? We calculate now the VAT. We want to check how much was the VAT of the postage. Firstly, you check, not everything has a VAT. You check if this thing does or is it VAT inclusive. Then you calculate VAT. On here we say equals to, we select the amount. We are now calculating the VAT. Multiply that by 100 divided by 115. Why do we say 115? Because the VAT, it is now 15%. If it was 14, we were going to say 114, and then you say enter. Okay, and then you say now the VAT inclusive, it is 5 rand 4 cent, and then you take that amount. Now we are going to calculate the exclusive of the VAT. We are excluding the VAT now. We are going to calculate the difference now of this amount to check how much was the VAT included in this item. All right, now we say equals to the original amount minus the VAT inclusive, and then you say enter. All right, okay, the VAT was 76 cents, and then you move on. The next one is the envelope. The envelope is 20 rand, and the envelope is 20 rand, and then you check envelope, does it falls under stationery or postage. Envelope is a stationery, so we are going to calculate the VAT inclusive equals to 20 rand multiplied by 100 divided by 115. Enter. This is the VAT. And then now we calculate the VAT amount. The VAT amount, we say equals to the original amount minus the VAT inclusive. Then we have it. So you record it 3 times. The original amount, you calculate the VAT inclusive, and then the total VAT amount that was included in the amount in that original, and then you check the stamp. The stamp was bought on the 10th. Remember, when you record, I will keep it like this because I'm just trying to save more minutes. So remember, every time you record the date, you record the voucher. So now we are on the stamp, voucher number 25. And the 25 for 25, and then you purchase the stamps. The stamps was how 8.50 rand, and then we check the stamp again. The stamp, it is part of postage. We calculate using the formula of the VAT with the original amount. You multiply that by 100 divided by 115. Enter, and then still we need to record that under VAT. Calculate now. We check the difference of the two, and then we check how much was the VAT. and then the postage. Oh no, not the postage. On the 13th, you received a check from the accountant to replenish the advance. What does that mean? You receive a check to replenish the money that you owe for the previous items that you purchased. So now this amount, we are going to record it it is on the instruction 13. So it is the amount that you received, and they did not provide the amount. So every time when you purchase, then they give you a check to go pay those things. No, not to pay. That's the amount that you receive to replenish them on the debit side. So whatever that you purchase here, there was a check provided. Now we need to record that check amount. That's what does it mean. And then now there's no amount provided. They only provide the date. It is the 13th, and then it is the check. It is the check balance. So we are going to record it as a check balance, and then here we are then going to say sum equals to sum. You open the brackets. Remember, we need to know how much did you receive to replenish the now the sum. We check now. We sum up everything. Remember, they are saying we are replenishing. In other words, what is the simplest way? We are topping up whatever that we remember when we pay or we buy something, we are taking from our petty cash amount, and then now we receive a check to top up the amount that we used. So now when we top up, we now record it on our debit side, because that is the amount we receive for all the items or all the above items that we purchased. So it should be the same amount of all those things that you purchased. Like for example, that is why we are using the sum formula, so that we check how much did we use to pay all those things, and then now we are topping up whatever we took from our petty cash amount, and then we say enter. Okay, we use this much. Okay, now we move on. The next item is the 16th. We pay the postage 35 rand. We pay the postage 35 rand, and then the postage, we record it under postage. We calculate the VAT first. Equals to this, so you multiply it by 100 divided by 115, enter, and then under VAT we want to see how much was the VAT, and then you say this minus that, we get the VAT. We get the VAT amount, and then you move on quickly back on the 18th. You gave money to a beggar. It was 20 rand. It was 20 rand. So this was the person who was begging for money, maybe on the street, and then you gave this person 20 rand. So it does not have a VAT because it was just a beggar, and then you record that amount under sundry as it is, because you don't calculate VAT on it. And then we purchase a tea and a sugar. It was 52 rand 80, 52 rand 80, and then we calculate the VAT because the tea does have a VAT. And then now that it is not part of this stationery, it is not part of postage, we are going to record it under sundry. We are going to calculate the VAT under sundry column. So whenever you have an item that does not fall in any of the columns that is provided, you take that amount and calculate the VAT under the sundry column. So we are going to do it under sundry. 100.15, and then the difference, then we are going to do it under VAT column. We take the original amount, the VAT, excluded. I'm swiping the two. This is the VAT excluded, this is the VAT included. Okay, now let's move on. Stationery. Yeah, you bought the stationery of 92.50, and then we have a stationery column. On the stationery column, we calculate the VAT. Yes, this is we calculate the VAT, and then under VAT, then we still need to know how much was the VAT amount included in this item. There we have it. And then now when we get here, okay guys, this is what happened. I recorded until the stationery. Now we calculate the VAT using the 100, everything that we're using, times 100 divided by 115, and then when we get here, now we calculate the balance, sum of the above, then we say enter. Remember, we have the instruction 31. We receive another check we want to replenish for those 4 items that we purchase, which are from the postage. We also need to record it this side again. Remember, the first one was 3 items. So now we use the sum. We click here, we say sum, and then we highlight those 4 items again. We want to see how much was the replenished amount for those 4 items that you paid for again. And then you record it on the debit side. On the debit side, now you have 3 amounts: the opening balance, the first 3 items that you purchase, and then the last 4 items. And then when you get to this side, you sum up everything. And then here you have the carried forward. The carried forward means this balance, it was brought forward on the previous months or previous month. So in February, this was a balance brought forward, and then now it was carried forward in February, and then now it is brought forward in March. So we are carrying it again to April. So in April, it is going to be a DF. It is going to be a BF, a brought forward. So now we are carrying it. We need to carry it to April. How are we going to do that? We are going to record the very same amount to credit side. We are going to say equals to, and then you click on the amount, and then you say enter. You are going to just have the amount as it is. Now you need to add the 2 amount, the balance and the carried forward. You can just sum the 2. Then you are going to have 484. And then again this side, you need to sum everything above. Equals to sum, you sum everything above, and then you say enter. The trick of this, the debit amount, it should be the same as the credit amount. Remember, again, you have something that is not closed. You have this carried forward. It is in March. So on the closing of your petty cash, you need to write on the 1st of April. Remember, we're in March. On the 1st of April, the very same amount, it is going to be a brought forward. It is going to be an opening balance for the April petty cash. So you need to take the very same amount as it is and then record it here. Yeah, I'm going to share the exercise with you guys. This is the longest video. I need to close it. Okay, thank you.